This is episode number 177 of WP Watercooler, WordPress 5.6 Simone. This episode is brought to you by ServerPress, Maker's Desktop Server. They make local WordPress development easy. Check them out at serverpress.com. And Cloudways. Cloudways handles all your hosting complexities so you can focus on building amazing WordPress websites without any hassle. Check them out over at cloudways.com. Help us out over on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/WPwatercooler. Here's our fine folks that are helping us over there. We appreciate you and appreciate all what you do. I'm Jason Tucker. I'm an IT director. You can find me at Jason Tucker on Twitter. That's Steve Zehngut. He doesn't know how to use a microphone to unmute himself. And then Say Reed. Again, she doesn't know how to use a microphone either.
Well, y'all know who it is. It's your boy Jason Cosper, aka Fat Mullenweg, here to talk some WordPress.
Post format.
Subscribe to us over on Apple Podcasts as well as Google Podcasts or on Spotify. You can go check us out over there.
Here's the problem: the problem is StreamYard mutes us when you start the intro. So I didn't. I was talking. I was talking. I don't listen.
We know how to operate.
When have I ever listened?
What is this computer thing you're trying to get us to work?
Oh,
I don't know how it operates. I've never done this before. Be kind.
I love you guys. I love you guys. Next time I'm gonna have you guys do the intro.
It'll be 45 seconds of silence.
Well, I'm Say Reed, so FYI, a little late to the party, but here it is. We had one job. Say your name, and we failed. Anyway, speaking of one job.
Oh man, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about WordPress 5.6.
Yeah.
So the previous one that came out was in July, if I remember correctly, and because the way numbers work, that was 5.5, and 5.5 had its things, but for the most part, everything kind of worked out okay with it.
Yeah.
We weren't like bitching and complaining hardcore on that episode, but there was definitely some stuff that was going on. But 5.6, what do you guys think? What have you experienced with it? And
I need to be honest.
Yeah, please do.
So as opposed to all the other episodes?
No, I'm honest in all the episodes. It's true. I am brutally honest on the episodes, but in this case, I have to out myself, and I have not updated anything. I haven't looked at it, haven't read the Tavern article, haven't looked at the 2021 theme. I don't care right now.
So
That's how I feel about the 5.6 Christmas update. I love you all. I'm so proud of the album and release squad. There's some cool stuff in the pipeline, but it's crunch time. I'm busy.
Can we talk about the 2021 theme for a second? Right. So let's start there. That's a good segue because
I did it on purpose.
I know. By default, it starts with this pastel green color, and that's what the screenshot is. It is ugly. It is ugly. Now I know you can change the color. It's very easy to do, but that should not be their default. It's ugly.
I don't know. It's a kind of a pretty like gray sage. Like I think
if you like green.
Look, Steve, you just don't know that cottagecore is a thing this year. That's all. Like, didn't you listen to the Taylor Swift album? Like, she put out a second one because cottagecore is so whatever.
That's what Steve was talking
about.
That preview looks awful. It's awful.
So it doesn't appeal to the masculine.
It's awful.
Is what I'm getting.
I'm sure the theme is I'm sure the theme itself is wonderful. I'm not knocking the theme. Just they should have taken a little bit more time and come up with a better previews, better screenshot, better green.
It's not really their fault because Gutenberg all that's bring it.
Yeah, I've been using.
That's like that.
Yeah, I've been using 2021 on a few sites. I don't mind the default color. Have I switched away from the default color on most of the sites I put 2021 on? Yes, absolutely. However, I do think that I actually enjoy that they've went for a kind of interesting default. And actually, Steve, I know you don't love the color, but this gives you the perfect reason to go in and change the color on the theme. So you get to learn how to change the color on the theme. It gets, yeah.
Then they should have gone with like a brown if they really wanted to force you to change the color. Right?
I mean, the color is
aside from the color, the theme is actually a well-built canvas theme. I've played with it, right? So it does give you a lot of canvas abilities. Ooh, God. Oh, God. Take that off the screen.
I think it's really pretty. I also think that I am so tired of people building portfolio themes. That's what I think about this. I hate it feels to me like a designers make portfolio themes all the time because they're like, here, we need someone to, the designers have portfolios or something. Like, I don't know, like how many portfolio themes are out there? Like, has anyone heard of SEO? Like, you have to have text on a page. Like, and they're not really that practical. Like, who's using this theme? Like, I am not against the color necessarily, and I do think it's pretty, but is it fulfilling the needs of the people who are using WordPress? Like, who's using this? That's my question. Like, I am so sick of portfolio themes. That's all there's to it.
There's other colors to pick from, though. Steve, pick a color. What color do you want?
None of these. Out of all these, I'll take the last two.
Cosper, what color?
Black and the white, maybe the purple.
They're nice. It's nice.
What color did you pick, Cosper?
I went for the millennial pink and the purple. I see nothing wrong with that. I see nothing wrong with having a good pastel color. I'm a guy. I don't feel threatened by colors, so I just it's all good, man.
Come on, Steve. You got a pink shirt.
He's not threatened. He's offended.
I'm not opposed to pastels. I just thought that the screenshot looked very. I thought the green with the very basic look. Anyway, let's get off the theme. I think we've talked enough about that. We're moving on. We spent 10 minutes on it so far.
So
yeah, I just don't know the yeah. Whatever. Themes are in a weird state right now because they're going to morph into the full build. So it's like, does anyone even want to put any effort into any themes? I don't know. I'm not saying they didn't put effort in. I'm sure they did. I just have a particular grudge against portfolio themes. So
they made a lot of improvements to the block editor, right? Or Gutenberg, as we sometimes call it here, right? And so there are a lot of and 5.5 got a lot of improvements. 5.6 got more improvements. Those are welcome. So those, there are a lot of really good
REST API.
Are we just skipping all the improvements to the block editor and moving on?
Oh, I guess not. I thought you were.
I did want to
that
bring
was it?
one
You want to talk about them? Sorry.
About the block editor. So one in particular was spoke about on Twitter was that the block editor takes you into a full screen by default. And I think it even covers up the menu bar on the top as well as the sidebar on the left.
Correct. It's been doing that for a minute.
Yeah, I don't think that's new, is it?
Yeah.
No. It's new for anybody who's been using the classic editor, just holding on.
Classic editor, represent.
Like all.
I'm not anti-block.
Yeah.
I'm not anti-block. I'm just like, everything is so plain right now.
I think this isn't necessarily 5.6, but I think what I miss in the block editor is they've made it really hard to get to the front end of your page now, right? If you're just using the block editor,
you have to go to the documents panel and click on the permalink. It is
right.
It is multiple steps.
It's a pain. Now, if you've just saved, they give you a little, very quick thing, a bug in the corner that says new page, and then it goes away. Right?
Tiny.
So
Has anyone figured out how long it's there? Have you watched it? Because it's not very long.
No, it's pretty quick.
It's like, oh, get it. Wait, quick, get it. I actually did a whole thing where I was trying to find, and I realized I was like, wait, I can't. It is. And I was like, do I really have to go into this docs panel? Like, it felt clunky.
It's less than the blinking red man on the "Don't Walk" sign, so it's less than that. So
like, it's a really fast crosswalk. Also, it's really small and it's really in the corner. I mean, that's been there too. That's also been there, but
yeah. Anyway, they added some it's minor improvements, but welcome improvements. One of the things that I think is important is they improved the basically the keywords in the block search, right? So if you're searching for blocks, instead of typing in image, you can type in picture, and it finds things better now. It was there, but they've improved that, so that's nice. So especially if you've added something like atomic blocks and additional blocks and all the things that add, like every plugin adds additional blocks now. Once you enable a few plugins, you've now got 100 or so blocks. So that block search is really nice. So that's kind of cool. They've improved. They improved the list block. They added some color support there, and they gave you some more choices for the styling in the social icons block, right? So they give you some design choices there. One of the things that I think is cool is the little info button inside of Gutenberg has the number of words count. They added number of characters count now as well.
I actually really like that info box. It's like super handy.
It is very nice. So those are
also handy is the page outline of blocks. That's also really handy.
Totally.
Neither of those things are new though, but
totally. Well, and again, every version of WordPress is getting little incremental improvements to that. So there are some really handy tools that they're adding. So all those things I just named are welcome additions.
Yeah, absolutely. I spent some time just over the past week while 5.6 was still in beta. I had to do a rebuild on a site, basically taking the front page of an example site and rebuilding something that had previously been built with Beaver Builder, just using the block editor as like an exercise, just to see what the performance difference was between doing you couldn't make it same, it couldn't be 1-to-1, but like just how close can we get? And I'll say it took me probably, it wasn't a terribly complex homepage, but it took me 45 minutes to find all the necessary blocks and everything else. And I got the homepage rebuilt, and it pulled all of the stuff that Beaver Builder adds and everything else out of there. It helped performance wise. I don't think everyone should throw Beaver Builder away, but it's definitely something where it's like, wow, okay, I'm actually able to build a homepage in Gutenberg now and have it and even use just the default blocks, not even a bunch of extra blocks, and get good output there.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm building a site right now that's using just all blocks on the homepage. So that's kind of been there. I just use different block libraries. So they're just making the default block library stronger.
Yeah, and when you say Beaver Builder, I'm going to take that metaphorically to mean all page builders, right? So you don't necessarily you don't want to throw away your page builder just yet. You're not going to be able to do everything in Gutenberg.
Well, all of them but WP Bakery, because that one's just garbage.
That one you should have thrown away years ago. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but the real question is, can you change your columns around and change your different things in the media and text editor, the media and image? That guy. Those two have always been really clunky. The columns and the thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I haven't checked. So this is a rhetorical question. I don't actually have an answer.
Awesome.
I'm sorry.
Just
bringing you the fresh cuts today.
Going down a quick summary of features here. One of the things that, and I know we talk about this all the time on the water cooler, but they now have automatic updates for major WordPress releases, right? Not just minor WordPress releases, right? So they're basically auto updating all the things now.
It was literally 2012 when Matt said that was the goal. So it's 8 years later, and they're basically there. So he wanted to pattern it off of Chrome, and Chrome's constant auto updates, so that the incremental updates and the major updates were all the same.
In that state of the word, Matt specifically said he wanted it to be like Chrome in that you don't know what version of WordPress you're using. Basically, that you come away from it and it just updates. You're just running WordPress.
Mm-hmm.
How does that make you feel, Steve?
Look, you can refer back to pretty much all the past episodes.
Every episode.
Literally every episode.
Yeah.
Not a fan. We weren't fans then. I think we actually spoke up in the 2012 after the State of the Word and talked about the updating problems. I think we all stood up at various points. We're like, I don't like that idea. Could you maybe not do that? That's going to break things. But I mean, if you're talking about the DIY user, oh, sorry, go ahead, Jason.
We had jQuery get updated, so that's
yeah. Let's. That was the next thing on my list. So, since we're talking about auto updates and breaking things,
are we on to 5.6.1 yet?
I think we're talking about the jQuery update that happened in 5.6, which was at the top of the show. I think Say kind of gave one of these 5.6, and this is the reason.
So there's this. So you can load up the test jQuery updates plugin to make sure that your updates are going to work correctly and see how that works. I don't know how well this works, but this is one of the links that's on the main announcement page for this. But you can go and run that plugin update test.
Hey, look, there's that green. It's everywhere. Very trendy.
And here's the thing. I mean, the real problem with this is not necessarily WordPress core. If you're running WordPress with no plugins, you're fine, right? It's when you update jQuery.
And who's doing that exactly?
Nobody. Literally nobody.
Nobody. There's automatically plugins installed. Yeah.
And
you'd have to do work to get a clean non-plugin version.
So the update that happened in 5.5 was jQuery migrate. And in this version, they've updated, I think, both jQuery and jQuery migrate again. That's in native core. And the problem with that is if your plugins aren't compatible with the new version of jQuery, if they weren't updated at the same rate as core, you're going to have problems. There's going to be conflict.
I have a question about this.
The wound that's still kind of fresh on this one from 5.5 is that WordPress broke their own plugin, which is WooCommerce. So WooCommerce wasn't tested against WordPress 5.5 when they released it. It didn't break all of WooCommerce, but it broke the editing of products in WooCommerce, and that's
no one needs to edit products on their shopping cart, though.
That's kind of bad.
But that wasn't 5.6, so don't conflate.
Well, but
don't conflate.
There's another jQuery update here, and I haven't seen any problems yet. Several of my hosts updated me to 5.6 on day one, which I don't really like, but they did it, and so I haven't seen any problems yet. My clients haven't reported any problems yet, so maybe we're out of the woods, but it's something to be aware of.
I have a question for you about updating opinions. So I obviously we're all you update in a secret box somewhere locked in a thing that has nothing to do with the production site. But if you're updating, it's like a secret box with a lock.
Like the movie Seven. What's in the box?
Oh no! Every time someone says that, that's all I can think of, all freaking day.
Sorry.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm gonna just say baby monkey and give that to you as an earworm, and then you can have it. Okay. When you're updating to the new thing, if you have other updates, so say your theme might update because it's updating for 5.6, your plugins might update because it's updating for 5.6, the core is updating. Which one, if you're doing it on a live site or on a staging site, which one do you do first? This is just kind of like a preference question. Do you update core, see what breaks? Do you just go through and hit all the things? What's your order of operations?
We can discuss.
The order of operations that I like to do personally is to upgrade plugins and themes first before doing core, because you're getting the updated code for core, hopefully, in the plugins and themes. So basically, you want to try to get the plugins and themes up to date before you get core up to date, but that's I mean, that's probably like some voodoo and chicken bones stuff. Like I'm just trying to be as safe as possible.
I think you missed a couple steps. Before you get to those steps, first you need a shot, then a beer, and then a bong load, and then you start all that whole process.
Yeah. Well, Steve, I mean, we talk about that in the pre-show and after show, but
sorry. I thought we were on the pre-show for a second.
It's hard to tell. Yeah, I always wonder that, because if you're, I guess the thing is in that case is that ideally your themes and plugins and such will be backwards compatible with the old WordPress. But sometimes there's a thing where there's big updates and they're like, this one's not compatible with the other one. So just go ahead and go real fast and just do it real quick and swipe it all in.
The thing that I brought up the other week about how WooCommerce says, like, here's the minimum version that we work with, and here is what it's tested up to for WooCommerce. Like, we need that in WordPress, like core plugins and themes, so we can say if we're going to move to this model of just having auto updates like this. So, Steve, I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
I want to talk about this. This is kind of a big deal. That's why I said the thing about the rest.
I was just going to say, it's tough as a developer. It's tough if you're maintaining a plugin to keep up and to keep your stuff backwards compatible, right? So I think there is a moving window on all of these technologies, and you got to hit that sweet spot. There's some big Venn diagram somewhere that shows all the compatibility, and you need to be in the middle of that. Anyway. Yeah. We've only got 7 minutes left, and there's a couple more things that were released in 5.6. PHP 8. Yep, PHP 8 compatibility.
Big hole in your back end.
PHP 8 is on its way, and so they're now supporting PHP 8, at least the beta version. So that's good. I personally have no experience yet with PHP 8. I'll defer to Cosper on that one.
I'm just happy because it makes all the developers happy, so there's less bitching. That's why I think it's great, because that way the developers aren't like, so old, old code. That's the developers. That's what
Is that how they sound to you?
Yeah.
So WordPress core is ready for PHP 8, but that does not necessarily mean that your plugins and themes are ready for PHP 8. So that's something you definitely have to be careful about. One of the things that the PHP compatibility tester, WP Engine, put out this plugin. I haven't actually seen it update. I think the last, the highest version it tests up to is PHP 7.3, at least on GitHub when I checked it like 2 weeks ago. Maybe there's been an internal push and they fixed it for 8, but you definitely want to check and make sure that your stuff.
But I mean, this just opens the compatibility like baseline. It's not requiring it or anything like that. So it's not like it's like, I mean, that's more of a future awareness. It's beginning that transition.
I think the quick takeaway here is you don't want to just update your live server, your production box to PHP 8. Things are probably going to go wrong.
Things will definitely go wrong.
Yeah. So
yeah. They will go wrong. I'm excited about that conversion for everybody. I guess that's probably going to happen like over the next year, right? Like, so next end of the year episodes will be like PHP 8. Like I think that's going to happen. I'm doing a lot of voices today.
You are. So the last major thing that was introduced, and I think we should spend a couple minutes talking about this, is now external third-party applications can create a password for themselves, basically create a login for themselves, right? And so there is a mechanism where they've sort of opened up a way for third-party applications to talk in and out of WordPress, right? Through
they put a big hole in the back end.
That's correct. And so
feel free to quote me on that.
It's fairly secure from what I've read, but if you look at the article I just posted in the chat, Jason, WordFence talked about how you could pretty easily use a social engineering or a phishing scam to get somebody to give you this link, right? So that you can create your own login for WordPress using this same method. And so there's some scrutiny here. So yeah.
Sadly, this was the first article that I read about 5.6. So this is probably why I started out.
If you search 5.6, I think this is the second link.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
Because everything else, and you know what, it sucks because everyone works so hard on these releases, and it is incremental. All of the updates that are happening because of the philosophy switch towards the updates, and so, but like mentally, like the community 5.6 is still a thing, even if it's not treated as a thing by the actual code updates. You know what I mean? Like it's a major update, but does that even really matter anymore because it's all still incremental, right? So I think that is part of the problem, is that we still associate the numbers and the major release numbers with super snazzy new features and all of this kind of, next level stuff that happens when you get an upgrade to things, but that's not what's happening. And so I feel like it is through no fault whatsoever of the squad or the team, that it is disappointing because it's just so incremental. Like it's like, oh, there's a new theme that has some stuff. There's a couple other things, but it's not like exciting Christmas. I don't feel.
Well, we get green, so there is some Christmas, so that's good.
There is some Christmas, and maybe that's a good thing, right? Especially because of a release before Christmas, you don't want a bunch of surprises in your website. Like this is not where we're trying to look for our excitement and risk taking, but that's somewhere else entirely. I don't know where it is.
It was Christmas in July, so I mean, it's one or the other.
Quick last word. Sorry, go ahead, Cosper.
I was going to say, I've always had a problem with this release in December. They've been doing it for a number of years now. And I mean, when I used to work for WP Engine, the host that I work at now as well, over at Nexus, not so much this year, but in previous years, we've tended to hold off on pushing the December release out until January, because you have customers who have sites that need to stay up and need to stay stable. And
because of the sales and everyone, or Matt, whatever, is always like, oh, there's holidays all the time, but this is the buying season.
Yeah, this is not the holiday you want to make.
And especially this year, where literally everything is online, everything is happening online. Like, who wants? I mean, that's risky. That's really risky to start to update your client sites right now in the second week of December.
No, my e-commerce clients go down. Their code gets locked before the first week of November.
Yeah, they're done
for Black Friday, right? So yeah, we don't make any changes right now.
Now, see, and Matt has the opinion that, you can update whenever there are holidays, because WordPress.com, which Automatic owns, I want to be clear there. It's WordPress.com is not WordPress, although it runs WordPress. They are constantly updating WordPress. They're actually using like betas of stuff that won't even be out in WordPress core until, months from now. And it's just one of those things. So they just roll it out, and they fix it if there's a problem. And I mean, that works for them. But when you have a site that is turning around these sales, especially in such a crucial holiday season, after such a crazy year that was 2020, for sales, for small businesses, for everything else, like, you cannot fuck with people's sales. Sorry, Jason, explicit tag.
So I was just going to say really quick, Jason, I know we're out of time here, but the sites that were updated for me this week, where core was updated without my control, it's been fairly seamless this time around. I got to say,
that's to be commended, right? That's to be commended on this, on the 5.6 team.
Yes.
Thank you for making it relatively painless. I mean, I think that's supposed to be the goal. So that, again, if it's a 5.6 update, it doesn't even matter if it's Christmas or not, or the holidays, or Hanukkah, or whatever it happens to be. Well, hi, oh, I have the wrong guy on.
So before we wrap up here, I do want to let you know that next week we're going to be doing our show on Thursday, and it's going to be the State of the Word show that we're going to be doing, which is going to be a lot of fun. It happens at 8 a.m. Pacific, so I don't know if we're going to be as lively as we usually are, where we're usually lively.
I will be.
I'll be up. I'm good.
It's going to be fun, and what you do, the way you do this, and we've done this before on Smart Marketing Show, which used to be WP Blab back in the day, is that we do a Mystery Science Theater 3000 style, where we actually have us in a little box here like this, and then we have Matt over on the side speaking, so you don't miss anything. But what's really nice about it is it allows us to talk over Matt, and we can talk about all the things that he's talking about.
And when you say talk, you actually mean heckle.
Yeah, just like when we had him on the show.
Yes. So it's I know it's early to like drink a beer and laugh or whatever on a Thursday, maybe, but it's gonna be a lot of fun to have a blast.
It's COVID. It's never too early for a beer.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say just do it. Just do what Steve said. Pack a bong load. Just
You can also watch it recorded later.
Sure,
right.
Sure.
Oh yeah, if you want to watch the unedited version of us not talking about it,
we won't edit it
YouTube or whatever. But our version is always better, and it's so much fun. So I'll have a link out, and we'll be sending it out onto our mailing list, so you can go take a look at it. Folks, thank you very much for hanging out. I appreciate it. Here's our outro. Thanks. Go over and sponsor us and support us over on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/WPwatercooler. We would appreciate it. Like Say figured out how to use the mute button. Check that out.
Hey.
Hit the subscribe button. We'd really appreciate that. There's a little bell next to it if you're watching us on Facebook and YouTube. You can do that. And also, we're a podcast.
Hey.
Podcast. You can go do that. Go do that over on Apple Podcast as well as Google Podcast.
Hey.
Spotify. So if you like Spotify and you're listening to all your stuff on Spotify, go do that as well.
Hey.
Hanging out with us
Hi.
on Friday. Steve, you got a solo. Have at it, bro.
Hey.
I finally figured out how to unmute myself. It's